What if I told you there's a company, one that's older than most countries, that basically acts as the secret plumbing for the entire global financial system? A company so critical that if it ever faltered, the shockwaves could bring entire economies to their knees. And yet, there's a really good chance you've never even heard its name. Today, we're opening the case file on State Street, the invisible titan of Wall Street. So, our first piece of evidence, this number. Just let that sink in for a second. $53.8 trillion. To give you some perspective, that is more than double the entire yearly economic output of the United States. But here's the key, and you really got to get this. This isn't money they own. It's money they guard. This is the total value of all the assets they hold in custody. They are the silent guardians of a truly staggering portion of the world's wealth. And this leads us to the central mystery of our investigation. How on earth does a single company end up safeguarding almost 10% of the entire planet's financial assets, and yet most people just don't know who they are? I mean, they don't have that flashy reputation of a Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan. So what's their secret? How did they achieve this silent dominance? To crack this case, we've got to go back in time to one single pivotal moment. Yeah, to really understand the giant that exists today, we have to uncover the decision they made way back in the past. State Street didn't just pop up overnight. Its entire identity was forged in a single moment that sent it down a completely different path from every other bank out there. Now, their history goes all the way back to 1792, but the real origin story, the one that matters for us, starts right here in 1924. This is the moment their DNA literally changed. They were asked to handle the bookkeeping for this brand new, radical invention, the very first mutual fund in the United States. Now, while all the other banks were focused on making loans, State Street made a fateful choice. They chose to be a safekeeper. They chose the path of the custodian. And that one decision planted the seed for the empire they would one day become. So what does it really mean to be this hidden engine? The official term they use is custodian, and let's be honest, it sounds intentionally boring, right? Well, that's the perfect cover, because hiding behind that bland title is the true source of their immense, unseen power. Okay, the best way to get this is to think plumbing versus portfolio. Over on the right, you've got their public face, investment management. That's State Street Global Advisors, managing trillions, creating those famous ETFs you've probably heard of. That's the part they want you to see. But the real secret, the actual source of their power, is over here on the left, investment servicing. This is the plumbing. The messy, complex back-office grunt work that nobody wants to do, but that the entire global financial system absolutely cannot live without. Just think of them as the official scorekeeper for the entire game of finance. They don't place the bets, they just hold all the chips for the biggest players on the planet. We're talking pension funds, giant insurance companies, you name it. They are the trusted, neutral third party that makes sure every single transaction settles correctly. And when you're the one trusted referee in the middle of all that chaos, that position gives you an unbelievable, almost invisible kind of power. And this chart, wow, this right here is the evidence of just how deep their influence really goes. That's their slice of all the financial assets on the planet. That 10% makes them what's called systemically critical, which, is basically code for too big to fail. They're not just a player in the market. In many ways, they are the market's plumbing. But here's the twist in our investigation. They got tired of living in the basement. See, in the last few years, State Street has made a really shocking power play. They've launched a new strategy to move out of the basement pipes and up to the penthouse boardroom. It's a quiet bid to control the entire investment process, from beginning to end. It's called State Street Alpha. And the goal? Well, it's breathtakingly ambitious. They want to become the financial world's one and only operating system. Think about it. It's like Microsoft Windows for your computer or iOS for your iPhone. They want to create a single platform that every major investor essentially has to use for every single part of their process. And here's their master plan. They already owned the back office. That's their home turf. That's the plumbing. So the next step was to conquer the front office. In 2018, they went out and bought Charles River, a huge player in the software that traders use to make their decisions. By bolting the front office onto their back office dominance, the Alpha platform creates this totally closed loop. From the moment an investment idea is born to the second the trade actually settles, they want to control the entire thing. And the scary part for their rivals? the plan is absolutely working. I mean, just look at these numbers from 2024. They pulled in $2.3 trillion in new assets. And here's the key piece of evidence. Almost half of that, over $1 trillion, came from clients specifically signing up for their all-in-one alpha platform. The biggest fish in the sea are getting locked into their ecosystem. And this consolidation of power is happening way faster than anyone predicted. But this isn't even their final play. We now come to the final layer of this investigation. Because State Street isn't just trying to conquer the financial system as it is today. No. They are in a high-stakes, all-out race to build the foundation of the financial system of tomorrow. Then, on January 15, 2026, they showed their hand. They officially launched their digital asset platform. And this wasn't just some small side project or experiment. This was a declaration. They were making their play to become the one and only toll booth between the old world of traditional finance and the new frontier of digital assets. And this quote from their chief product officer, it reveals their entire strategy. See, they're looking at the whole wild west of crypto, and they see an opportunity not in the chaos, but in selling order. Their plan is simple. Build the most boring, secure, and regulated highway for big institutional money to travel onto the blockchain. They're selling safety in a world that looks pretty dangerous to them. So what does this new plumbing actually do? Well, in simple terms, they're building a machine that can turn old-world assets like ETFs and plain old cash into digital tokens. Now, why does that matter? Because once assets are on a blockchain, you can do things that are basically impossible today, like settling trades instantly. That is the holy grail. It would eliminate days of risk from the entire system. They're not just participating in the new system, they are building the very rails it's going to run on. But make no mistake, they are not alone in this. This is a heavyweight title fight. Their arch-rival, BNY Mellon, the other ancient custody giant, launched a competing platform in the very same month. This is a two-horse race to become the undisputed landlord of the new tokenized economy. But State Street thinks that has a secret weapon. They've partnered up with a crypto-native firm called Galaxy to build something called the Sweep Fund. Now, forget all the jargon, here's what you need to know. It creates a seamless 24/7 on-ramp for huge institutional money to flow from the old system onto the blockchain and back again. It's the missing piece of the puzzle, a critical bridge between these two worlds. So the case file is open. We have a silent giant that spent more than a century becoming the invisible foundation of our financial world. And now, it's in an all-out sprint to build the foundation for the next one. This isn't just business as usual. This is a race to literally write the rules for the future of money. And when a company this powerful and this hidden makes a move this big, the one question we should all be asking is, what happens if they win?